Welcome back. It is that time again, Girl Talk Q&A. You send me your biggest dilemmas and I give you the best solutions. So get cozy, put your cutest PJs on, grab yourself a beverage and some popcorn as always. And if you didn't know, this is like episode 5, 6, 7, I don't know, I've lost count. We have done so many of these in the Girl Talk Q&A series. So if you haven't already, go back and watch these videos because every single episode I choose different questions, okay? We are not covering the same old topics. But boy, are the questions juicy today. I'm just looking at them over here on my screen. We are gonna be talking about red flags, being stuck in cycles, toxic friends, how to have healthy relationships, self-love, mindset, envy, reaching your goals, and so much more. So buckle in because we're about to get started. Given the topic of this video and the amount of dilemmas and problems I've seen you girls experience, it only makes sense that I talk to you about one of my favorite platforms, BetterHelp, before we jump into answering all of the dilemmas. BetterHelp is also the paid partner of this video. If you don't know what BetterHelp is, it's basically an online therapy platform. It's something that I've used in the past and had a great experience with. If there's anything I realized when picking out the dilemmas I was going to answer for this video, is that being a girl can be really effing hard sometimes. And there is such a wide array of problems that life consistently throws at us, whether it's about school or boys or girl problems in your friendship group. And sometimes it's difficult to have to deal with that all by yourself. And I think it's the healthiest, most self-loving favor you can do for yourself to actually speak to a professional, to be able to get an unbiased viewpoint on your situation from somebody who's not directly in it. Speaking to a therapist about the problems I was going through on BetterHelp was so helpful and gave me so much perspective that I couldn't get to on my own or through talking to my boyfriend and my friends. And with BetterHelp, it's so easy to get started and level up your self-care. All you have to do is go to their website and fill out the questionnaire that's going to pop up, and this will assess all of your specific needs. That way you can get matched to a therapist that is best suited to you. BetterHelp is all about making this process as seamless and easy for you as possible so you can have your therapy sessions on the phone, video call, texting, whatever you prefer. You can connect with a therapist from a diverse network of credentialed professionals with a wide range of specialities and backgrounds, and you can easily switch therapists at no extra cost at any time. It is 100% a platform you can trust, and I can say that because after months of using it, I only had positive things that I gained from it. So if you would like to get started today and get a discount on your membership, then just go to my unique link, which is betterhelp.com/tamcore. Okay, we are gonna get straight into the dating dilemmas first. The first question somebody asked was, how do you identify red flags in yourself and fix them when you are in a relationship? I love this question. It stood out to me immediately. You know the correct questions to be asking so that you can be your best self and live your best life. I mean, first of all, I would have to say communication. You have to communicate with your partner in what you can do better in the relationship consistently, whether this be weekly or monthly check-ins. My boyfriend and I have been doing this every single month. Yesterday was actually the anniversary of the date that we met for the first time, and we did the check-in at a date at dinner, and we had so many positive things to say, but we also had things to say to each other on things that maybe we prefer that obviously the other person doesn't realize. Because the thing is, even if you are acting in a way that you think is really kind and loving, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be received like that by the other person, because you are raised in completely different ways and you have completely different love languages. So it's really important to get your partner's opinion on how you can show up in the best way possible, just like you would want them to show up for you in your best way possible. Other than that, self-evaluation is huge. So for example, whenever you feel a negative emotion come up, I want you to take a step back and think, is me expressing this negative emotion, let's say you feel angry and then obviously you want to act on that emotion, does that serve my higher self, and is that going to get me the solution that I actually want in the situation? If the answer is no, and really it's just an emotional reaction which is going to be temporary, and it's just fitting into your old cycles and patterns that you may have experienced in not being emotionally regulated, or maybe it reflects back to how your family have treated you or your parents' patterns which are being passed down to you, then you know to nip it in the bud and choose a different reaction instead. I cannot tell you how many times this has saved me. A particular mode of behavior was shown to me consistently growing up by all of my family members because they all reacted in like heated and tense situations in the exact same way, and naturally, that's exactly what I want to do as well. I want to shut down, I want to be quiet, and I don't want to communicate the problem. This has been my toxic trait in every relationship I've ever been in, okay? Putting my hands up, telling the truth. In my relationship now, I've communicated this to my boyfriend. So one, he's been fully aware that this is something that I struggle with when I'm upset or angry. So one, he's really patient with me, which has given me the chance to work on it myself and not feel guilty for it. But two, because I'm aware that open communication is there, I'm making more of an effort than ever to actually work on it because I feel accepted and loved even whilst I'm working on it, and that's the best thing ever. So I think it's really good to tell your partner, hey, these things don't really come naturally to me, and they can support you in that journey. Some other prompts I really like is this reaction / emotion reflective of me or my parents / my childhood or my trauma? Another prompt I like is, if I step back from what my partner is actually saying, what is the emotion behind what they're saying, and let me respond to that. For example, your partner might come home from work and be really stressed out and not be communicating or acting in their normal way. But if you can understand they've just had one of the worst days of their lives and you treat them with compassion instead of what they are verbally saying on the front, you can prevent a huge argument. Another prompt, I briefly mentioned this earlier, is that your love language probably won't be the same as theirs. So you cannot love your partner in the way that you expect to be loved, because that's literally not fair on your partner. That's you loving your partner for who they are rather than for your convenience. Next question, why do we attract the same situation again and again? I actually have two answers for this, so take what applies. One, I think the universe is simply trying to teach you a lesson that you have not yet learned, and this is one of my answers because I can see it so clearly in so many situations I've been in the past. I was getting into relationships with basically the same type of guy, but just in a different font, and although the environment was changed and the exact people had changed, the behaviors, the patterns, the cycles, the type of relationship, the treatment I was being put through were all the same. And it wasn't until I identified that pattern and changed myself to make sure I wasn't attracting it anymore that I actually got a different outcome and lifestyle. I also think that this is really great for us because it's for the purpose of us fulfilling our full potential. Certain obstacles and adversities have to be set out in our path for us to level up into the type of person we've always wanted to be. But this leads me onto my second reason as to why I think we end up attracting the same situation over and over again, which is the only way for you to actually take advantage of those bad situations and level up out of them so that you transform is to rewire your subconscious identity. Your beliefs, your emotions, your nervous system, your comfort zone, all of that is wired in a way that then creates, attracts, controls your living experience. So basically, you are just unconsciously deciding to repeat the exact same pattern until you decide to rewire it in here. Kind of like what I said before, new version of you equals new life, until you realize there's a part of me that keeps attracting this within my life, and once I change it, then I can get rid of this pattern, this cycle, this situation. You're good to go. So start asking yourself, what am I doing and what am I being that is making this my level of normality and reality? It's by shifting your internal narrative and thoughts that makes the biggest change, and I have multiple videos on my YouTube channel that will help you practically do this. Question number 3, how to deal with healthy relationships after being in a toxic one. This question hits me deep in my core because, oh my god, this was such a problem for me when I was getting with Boyf. By the way, if you're new here, I've been with my partner for 3 years. We've been living together now for a year, and he was like the first nice guy I ever met, and it was a struggle. And the reason that happened to me and most other people is because you haven't reprogrammed the part of you that thinks that love equals chaos or love equals struggle, and we get that internal narrative and that meaning from either how love was modeled to us by our parents or our external family members, or if you've been in a string of toxic relationships, that's just your new normal. So anything other than that is really unsettling to your nervous system and to your subconscious mind because it just craves comfort, aka what you're used to and what is predictable, which may be chaos or anger or bare minimum stuff. So anything outside of that just feels unsettling and disturbing and downright suspicious. So the biggest realization you need to have is your mind thinks that healthy love is boring because it's not associated with that same adrenaline and those highs and lows and that roller coaster that toxic relationships give you, especially because with most toxic relationships, the partner in that relationship is going to be love bombing you. So from the get-go, it's going to be really intense and it's going to be a lot. A healthy partner is going to want to take things slow. A healthy partner is going to still be deciding if they want to be in a relationship with you, and they're going to be deciding if they like you throughout the dating process, because that is what a good healthy partner should do. They shouldn't want to love you and marry marry you and be in a relationship with you straight away. That is the biggest red flag. They should have their own set of standards. Their personality should slowly be defrosting with each date. You know, they're not going to tell you their entire personal history or trauma on the first or 2 dates. Basically, their energy is just very different. And so naturally, you're going to think something's off. This is boring. I don't feel the spark. Yeah, that spark is just adrenaline that you get from the intense, horrific energy that bad partners give you. So the way to change it, my favorite step is to read books about healthy love and healthy relationships. A book that absolutely changed my life was All About Love by Bell Hooks, and another one was Attached by Dr. Amir Levine. I have spoken about these books so many times on this channel. I've made TikToks about them. I've gotten, I think, 5 of my friends to read these books. I'm not kidding. Like, it literally changed their dating lives as it did mine. Reading about healthy love and what it consists of, what it actually means, is going to change your entire perspective. And that way, when a toxic partner tries to come into your life, you're going to spot them from a mile away because you would have done the work. Another thing I love is watching healthy couple content on like Instagram and TikTok. I'm not talking about the unrealistic stuff where they're like staying in mansions and going on holiday every month. Couples who are talking about how they get through disagreements. Couples who are talking about their favorite healthy practices and rituals in living together to make it easier for the both of them. Couples that talk about how they show up for each other when things are going hard. That is what you need to be consuming. Because if you are constantly consuming content about people cheating or people that romanticize toxic relationships on social media, oh my god, it's gonna become your new normal. And you think you're just scrolling for fun, but it's actually just doing you a really bad favor in the long run. Final question for the dating dilemmas. This is a really unique one and I thought it would be so interesting to answer. This girl asked, I feel like I deserve a certain type of man, but they aren't attracted to me. What do I do? Let me just start off by saying there's nothing you need to do in, you know, being more attractive or being more. It's all about what can you feel. There is a misalignment in your energy and your internal narrative and the way that you perceive yourself that has caused you to misunderstand and to wrongly assume that you can't get whoever you want. Because let me tell you, everyone can get whoever they want. If your inner perception is misaligned, no man is ever going to notice you because they can sense that energy. Same goes for women that you want to be friends with, etc. The world and everyone around you is simply a mirror of you and the relationship you have with yourself. That's why everybody says a woman's partner is simply a reflection of the amount of self-love she has. Remember that quote. A woman's partner is simply a reflection of the self-love that she has for herself. Because a high caliber man isn't something you get. He is simply a mirror of the frequency you believe you are worthy of. So the answer is very simple. All you need to do is embody the self-worth and security of the type of woman who knows she can get any type of man she wants. Okay, chapter number 2, we are now on to the friendship dilemmas. Dilemma number 1, I'm always judged or get ignored at uni because I'm serious with my friendship standards. Good, please let them be high. I relate to this so much. Because here's the truth as to why people are ignoring you and judging you and it's hard for you to make friends. Most people on this planet are just friends because they share the same low vibrations and frequency. They are friends because they hate the same people, they gossip about the same things, and they have the same low vibe interests. Oh, and not to mention close proximity. A lot of people literally just make friends because of convenience rather than standards and actual compatibility and fear of loneliness. 99% of people on this planet cannot spend a few days alone, and so they just stick with people that are actually really bad for them. So tell me this, why would you even want to be friends with them? Let them judge. That's literally proof that your boundaries and your standards are working. You are not being ignored. You are being prepared for the aligned high vibe friendship group that you are actually worthy, deserving of, and attracting and wishing for every single day. Do not get upset when you wish for something to the universe. I'm setting these high standards and boundaries because I expect a particular type of person in my life, and then the universe literally makes sure that any single person that does not fit that standard ignores you, as they should. It's so that you don't fall into the trap of letting people have access to you that do not deserve it and do not meet those standards that you so very clearly state to the universe and believe in yourself. Also, I want to tell you this because I wish I knew. Uni is so much more than friends, and I know it's the part that everybody romanticizes and talks about, but uni is like your first baby step into the adult world where you can get a job, you can live out, you can be super independent, you can go where you want, you're finally away from your parents, and you can just figure out who you actually want to be. Uni is where I decided to start my social media career. It's where I started solo dating. It's where I started my self-love journey. It literally was like the beginning steps of everything I do online now and who I am. Let this be your season of being too serious and too picky, because the people that will actually appreciate you and recognize your frequency and your energy and your high standards, they will mirror that, they will match that, and they will be attracted to you so effing effortlessly. Please stop thinking, when is it going to come? Because you are just deterring it further away. I want you to believe that that friendship is coming. I want you to believe in it so much that it doesn't matter how much time it takes. And in the meantime, I want you to keep working on yourself. Question number 2, how to identify envy in your close circles. Okay, I gotta say this because it sounds like it a little bit from your question, but I might be wrong, so forgive me. If this is coming from a place where you are constantly scanning everyone in your life and every friendship group for them having envy or them potentially betraying you or being mean or fake, then it sounds like you're just operating from a place of past pain that you haven't healed yet, and you're projecting that onto people that might not be like that whatsoever. If you stayed paranoid that people are going to betray you like others have in the past, you are just going to keep attracting that because that's all you're thinking about and that's all you're feeling, and that is simply the law of attraction. But when you start believing in high frequency, aligned, kind, loving friendships, that's all you're ever going to be able to see in your reality, because that's what you align with and that's all you believe and see. But let me actually properly answer your question. Some signs of envy in your friendships: they can't celebrate you and they go quiet. They are constantly trying to put themselves on a pedestal by not only talking you down, but there are subtleties, like them trying to teach you things constantly, but not in a helpful way, in a way of I always know better than you. Oh, poor you, let me just help you because you clearly don't know what you're doing like I do. Big red flag. Insecurity, and they will do anything they can to basically show you that they're so much better than you. When they walk into a room and they have to be the loudest, and they have really fake confidence with everyone, and they have to make sure that they're liked by everyone, and they're trying their hardest to do that rather than just being their most authentic self that you know. Big insecure energy. I think really the biggest indicator that I've learned in knowing if you're going to have a jealous friend is if they are just insecure in themselves. Final dilemma for the friendship chapter: dealing with an ex-friend constantly on your mind and coming up in your dreams. I have looked so much into dreams because I used to have problems like these as well, and I learned that dreams simply signal what you haven't emotionally processed yet. Your dreams are just working overtime in processing any unresolved emotions or problems that are still lingering in your subconscious mind. And a lot of the time, they're not even about the person that you're dreaming about. So if you dream about your ex or your ex-friend, it's not about, oh my God, I must miss them, because we both know that's not true. It's about the unfinished emotion, and it's about what it represents in your life or in the relationship you have with yourself. So for example, it might be, I can't believe I didn't see that energy straight away, or I can't believe I got betrayed by someone I cared so much about, or I can't believe I was in the same type of relationship that I'd been in before, but I thought this one was different. I think it's more about that. Sometimes you're having these dreams constantly because your mind is trying to process the fact that you didn't say what you wanted to say and you didn't get closure, or maybe you felt powerless. And if you really think about it, you're going to see that this makes sense. Because in the back of your mind, whenever you do think about that past relationship or person, you're thinking, why did it end that way? Are they still thinking of me? Would I be able to forgive them? I wonder what they're thinking about the situation. That is just a loop of unresolved energy that, because you're not working on in your day-to-day life, your dreams are trying to handle it for you instead. So here are some practical solutions to actually get rid of that stagnant energy so you don't have to deal with it when you're trying to get your beauty sleep at night. One is journaling, my favorite thing in the world. This is going to help you actually gain a deeper insight to your thoughts, which, by the way, you just thinking thoughts every single day doesn't give you the full comprehensive view of what thoughts are actually going on in there. I can't tell you how many times I've started writing a thought and then a bunch of other ones pop up that I wasn't even consciously aware of. It's like magic. Letting go of all of those thoughts and those worries and that emotion onto paper is such a huge relief, and it is a really great step in processing it. Number 2 is to write a letter to that person that you might be thinking about or about that situation, and just never send it. But I want you to write everything you'd want to say to them so you can finally get it off your chest. And thirdly, I want you to start working on yourself in whichever way works best for you, because a lot of the times we still identify with these past situations and we miss them, not because of the person being so special, but because we're so attached to the person we were in that relationship and we miss that version of ourselves. But the truth is, people leave your life because they have to leave with a part of you that needed to die, with a part of you you needed to outgrow. And that is exactly why you don't have that person in your life anymore either. It's because you fall out of frequency with each other, and so they are walking away with all of the parts of you that you can no longer identify with. So now I want you to start thinking, who are you going to become without them? Start looking at it like it was a necessary and intentional gift from the universe. Okay, final chapter. These are all of the questions or dilemmas you guys sent on the topic of being your best self. Why do our goals feel so ordinary when we have accomplished them? Oh my god, because they're supposed to. That's the only way you could have even achieved the goal in the first place, because you have to normalize it in order to align with it and get there. So congrats, pat yourself on the back. Because the truth is, if you are still shook or surprised by your dream reality, it means you are not the version of yourself that can get there, because it's simply not normal to you yet. That shock and that surprise means that you are not operating on the same frequency as the version of you that already has it, meaning you're not ready to even be the version of you that gets to have that thing in your day-to-day reality. It is an honor to achieve a goal and for it to feel so ordinary and so boring. Because unfortunately, true manifestation is very anticlimactic, and I have felt this every single time. Your identity needed to catch up to the dream reality long before it was even close to being in your life. When your goals feel boring, you are winning, because it means you no longer worship or put the version of you who has it on a pedestal, because you are them. Dilemma number 2, how do I overcome my obsession with other people's achievements? I want you to feel so offended that you even care about other people and their lives in the first place. Because in the process of even paying attention to what they're doing, you are abandoning your own life. I also want you to realize that everyone's timelines are different, yes, and with each of those timelines, everyone, and this is guaranteed, is set to receive their own specific bundle of obstacles and adversities that they need to experience on their journey. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. And while you are looking at your own very set of obstacles and adversities, I promise you, the person you could be envying and admiring, theirs could be so much worse. And even if it wasn't worse, even if it was objectively easier, you still wouldn't want to swap lives with them or experience their challenges and their blessings, because it does not align with your timeline or your life experience, meaning you are not ready or prepared to live the life they live, because they have been prepared to have those set of circumstances since the day they were born, and you have been trained and prepared to live your current life since the day you were born. So it's time you start looking at it and appreciating it, because no one can live it and succeed at it and thrive in it like you can. Also, obsession with other people's wins is just your potential misdirected. You love their wins and you love their successes because there's a part of you that knows you are capable of doing that too, but you're just not doing it. And if you redirected that energy to action, focus, attention, and concentration on your own life, you could be doing the exact same thing. So you are triggered by them and their timeline and their circumstances, but instead of you being triggered, I want you to see that as evidence that it really is possible for anyone, and that includes you. The next question makes me so sad. It makes me so sad, because this is one of my most commonly asked questions I get. And the question is, how do I love myself without guilt? Self-love should never feel guilty. Those two words should have nothing to do with each other. But I get it, you were tricked into thinking that self-love is guilty because we live in a society that prioritizes humility, selflessness, and putting other people's needs before our own. Why? Because you being powerless, small, and always serving others without ever considering filling your own cup first makes you small, easy to control, and other people comfortable. To solve this problem, I would say you just need to take a step back and recognize where the guilt comes from. Is it because you grew up with parents or a family that had this idea of shame around putting your needs first and constantly labeled you selfish or a brat if you just did things because you wanted to do them, rather than constantly falling to the feet of people you don't even care about, but they spent their entire lives doing that because that's what they were taught? Or is it embedded in your culture that it's bad to rest and it's seen as lazy if you don't struggle or burn yourself out or suffer in order to be worthy of success? In order to figure out where it comes from, I think you should assess the specific moments in where you actually feel the guilt. Is it if you are saying no to somebody? Is it when you celebrate yourself? Is it when you talk about yourself? Is it when you appreciate yourself? Or do you think you feel vain when you put on a cute outfit or you're looking in the mirror? Whenever those guilty moments come up, I want you to think of an affirmation that you can constantly repeat in those situations so that you can reprogram that outdated wiring that tells you self-love is guilty and replace it with a confident, empowering self-love mindset. E.g., when you are feeling badly about saying no to somebody, your affirmation can be, this is simply what someone who loves himself would do. Matter of fact, this is someone with self-love's bare minimum standard. Dilemma number 4, how do you navigate authenticity versus being your dream self? Oh my god, I love this because my last newsletter I just put out was all about this exact topic, I kid you not. By the way, if you haven't seen my newsletter, every single newsletter comes with a challenge of the week, so it's always like a 5, 6 or 7 day challenge. Basically, if you guys love the homework chapters in my videos, it's in way more detail but for the newsletter, so if you haven't already, sign up, it's free. I'll just tell you what I said in the newsletter, like in a nutshell. I said that I don't think self-development and being your best self is about becoming a new version of yourself. I know I say that because it's just like an easy quote to say. I think it's about being the version of yourself that you were always destined to be, but what you need to do in the process is get rid and shed yourself of all of the obstacles, insecurities and limits that people have put on you throughout your life, whether it be your peers at school, your teachers, your family, your friends, toxic partners. All of that you think is you, but it's not. It's limits that people put on your full potential of what you were always meant to do. Being your best self is simply getting rid of that so that you can fulfill your potential and your destiny. It's about overcoming everything that's ever stood in your way because you really forgot that you were already meant to be the best version of yourself. You have been tricked into being humble and shy and playing it small and making sure you're relatable and making other people feel more comfortable. That's not you. That's never been you. That's what people have told you you are. With the authenticity, it's not about reinventing yourself and pretending you're someone you're not. It's about maybe taking your favorite things and just elevating them by 10%. Whether it be the places you go for coffee, going to a fancier place if that's what aligns with you, whether it's the way that you invest your money and what you invest it in, whether it's how your morning routine looks like, whether it's the amount of time in your week that you actually spend on prioritizing yourself. All these little upgrades make the biggest difference in building your strongest, most powerful identity yet. Oh my god, we're on the last dilemma for the video. Let me come closer for this one. How do I stop thinking I'm running out of time in my early 20s? You're not running out of time, girl. You are just running on someone else's timeline. You have tricked yourself into thinking that because they are there, you must be there too, but that is not the case. The pressure you feel isn't even your pressure. It's like been thrown onto you just from scrolling on social media or seeing other people's journeys. Or it could be from generational expectations or comparing yourself to other people that you know. But guess what? They are never going to be able to live your life. They have never lived in your head. They know nothing about you. You are incomparable. My favorite piece of advice for this is stop looking at your 20s like it's the be-all and end-all and start seeing it as the drafting phase. Your 20s is just the experimental phase, and it can either be spent worrying about I'm not going to be able to start this because now I'm in my late 20s so it's too late. No. This is the time where you can experiment and try so many different things without consequences because you haven't settled down in a family yet. Maybe you haven't bought a house yet, so you're not stuck in one place, which is such a huge blessing. You don't have kids yet. There are going to be so many new responsibilities that are thrown at you. The older you get, take advantage of it, the younger you are. Your 20s are not this deadline. They are the practice for who you really want to become. And I think every single year of your 20s can look so entirely different. So many of those years can be filled with horrific failures. But what that means is when you finally hit your 30s, you actually know who you want to be because you took so many chances and risks in your 20s. So by the time you're in your late 20s or your early 30s, you're like, I have no confusion about what I want to do, who I want to be, what my passion is, because I tried everything. Let's just stop prioritizing time when it comes to achievements and start prioritizing alignment. With anything you do, forget how long it's taking, forget how old you are, and just wonder, is this taking me in the right direction to who I've always wanted to be, to the best version of myself, to the life I've always dreamed of? If yes, keep doing it. If no, it's time to pivot. And never ever be scared to pivot because it's one of the best things you can ever do. Not only is it going to change your life in pivoting, but it's going to change your mindset. It's going to make you more courageous, more resilient, more confident than you will ever know. And every single time you make a decision to change something in your life or do something different, you are adopting a new identity. You're putting yourself in a new environment with new people, and you're becoming a version of yourself you never thought you could be because you're surrounding yourself with change. That is powerful. That is something a lot of people in their lives will never do because they are addicted to the comfort of playing it safe in their 20s. And that brings us to the end of this video. You know what? It would not be a girl talk Q&A if I wasn't throwing popcorn into my mouth. Thank you so much to everybody who took the time to send in their dilemmas and their questions in so much detail. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys found great advice, solution, and insight in this video. If you did, please comment down below. Let me know what your favorite part of the video was, what your favorite question was. If you want to be able to send a question or a dilemma in for the next episode, because I'm constantly going to be doing these videos, then go and follow me on Instagram because I'm always asking for the questions over there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you so much. Before you go, I would love it if you can go in the description and check out all of the links there, because I promise you every single link serves your higher self. Every single thing I do put out online, whether it's my newsletter, my vlog channel, my TikTok, my Snapchat, my book, my journal, all helps you in being the best version of yourself and puts all of the advice I speak about on this main channel into action for you. So just check it out. And I will see you same time next week on Friday for a brand new video. I appreciate you. Bye! Up.